Those were, it seems, the happy times. Paris, or Paris, no matter how you pronounce it, the magic is the same. Music and musicians, as it was in those carefree days, Paris had one song which, above all others, was unmistakably Parisian. This was the cry of the vendors at the marketplace. At daybreak, a kitchen garden opens on narrow cobbled freighted with history. Out of the early morning mists, some questionable characters emerge. If they are thieves, the gendarmes will be in hot pursuit, fully mechanized naturally. In the neatest trick of the week, the law is forced to take its course on foot. Where have they gone, these culprits? Are they lost in the shadows of the old streets or hiding on the quays? The city is waking up. Life stirs first on the Seine. Boats are giving way to the larger ones, which will chug up the river as far as Suresnes. Not far away, that soaring structure, the Eiffel Tower, urges with the day. Its detractors call it ugly, baroque, vulgar, a product of mercantile imagination. Monsieur Eiffel, builder of the tower, is not made happy by these attacks. The people, however, are on his side. They take his tower to their hearts. It amuses them, pleases them. They stand in long queues to go up in its elevators. Comforted by this, Monsieur Eiffel can smile. Monsieur Loubet, the President of France, is as aware as a politician must be of what people think. Accordingly, during the exposition, he holds official banquets in the Tower restaurant. The altitude doesn't seem to affect the appetite of the guests. The exposition attracts 51 million visitors, and 51 million visitors can't be wrong. They admire the buildings, but show special interest in Monsieur Eiffel's tower. The Third Republic, finally convinced, claims it as one of its glories. The new president is Monsieur Fallières, the embodiment of those prosperous, unfrowning years. Santa Claus could not more cheerful. He has become the symbol of a France contented, sentimental, and perhaps a little... His amiability is indestructible. He welcomes, he presides, yet he is sometimes disturbed. He can whisper, "My little business in the provinces isn't doing too well." You're home, then reassured because he's nothing if not an optimist, he's off again on another tour. In Tunisia, he is received, saluted, entertained. Still smiling, he is taken for something of a ride. In short, le président est bien content. Monsieur Lépine, prefect of police, is also happy, at least for a policeman. In Paris, he is opening a station for another railway, full-sized in this case. In America, it is known as the subway. In London, as the underground. In Paris, as the metro. Monsieur Lépine, with his guests, sets out on an inspection of this new kind of underworld. The new subterranean has launched a new style of architecture, the modern or metro style, as it is called by those who regret it. Its inspiration is industry itself. Industry with its open use of steel and iron, its frank functionalism, with something, as one critic put it, of the disorder of nature thrown in. Tastes in interiors, no less than exteriors, are changing. Monsieur Majorel's innovational furniture was a sensation at the exposition. He is certain that the search for novelty need not conflict with good taste. An allegorical nude is shown, a product of the new Bronze Age. Though undeniably traditional in her contours, she symbolizes modernism. The salon leads us to manners, indeed to etiquette. You know how to sit down, asks Baroness de Staff, author of Advice to the Worldly. You know how to walk in a hobble skirt and to conserve those graceful movements which are music to men's eyes. It is up to date to offer the left hand to a female acquaintance who offers you her right. This, of course, is something ladies should never do in the presence of a gentleman. If we are among intimate friends, we can let ourselves go a little without going so far as to cross our legs in public. The same subtleties and judgment prevail in all facets of feminine existence. They dominate the sacred rites of selecting hats and hairdos. Hair, perfumed with the scent of violets or sandalwood, twisted into all shapes, these can only be achieved with the aid of experts. When you cover this elaborate handiwork with a hat and secure it with a hat pin, be careful not to injure the eyes that admire you. Any audacity is permitted, so long as you're certain it's in good taste. You could even improvise, slipping a spare handbag over your head. No matter that the bag is embroidered or edged with pearls. Another delicate subject is the choice of jewels. This also requires taste. Money, too. If, as a woman, you want to be in the height of fashion, you can drape yourself, as Marcel Prince does, in lamé, silver or gold or copper color. On the other hand, you may prefer, as does the equally famous Gabrielle Dosia, light tules and the perfume of flowers. Or you may present, as the newest winter model, such a costume as this. These are gowns which only the great couturiers would dream of imposing upon the slaves of fashion. Sheaths of heavy black silk, cuirasses of velvet, coats of mail made of lace or jet. Cappiello has immortalized the faces of the great designers. Monsieur Doyer, Jacques Doucet, Jean Worth, Caroline Raboux, Monsieur Rouff, who is so well versed in the caprices of women. But a brand new and shocking type of female, the sportswoman, is emerging. For obvious reasons, and reasons she wants to be obvious, She refuses to be imprisoned by long skirts. The public unveiling, so to speak, of the first girl in trousers creates a scandal. But women everywhere are on the march. Since they are beginning to do the work of men, it seems normal enough to have them wear masculine apparel. London has women electricians. Paris, it's women cabbies. Women are demanding a new life, new rights, too. They want liberty and equality, if not fraternity. The suffrage movement is in full swing. Mrs. Pankhurst is their leader. Her hat may not be pretty, but it's a statement of principles. Others elect to gain their ends in more feminine ways. They prefer persuasion to mass beatings. They find a sedate garden party an excellent means of weakening the stronger sex. Liberation is the slogan of the day. Liberation not only from male dictatorship, but from the restraints of that even more painful tyrant, the corset. The corset, some insist, is a Bastille. But its fall brings other problems, such as how to keep skirts, petticoats, and stockings from falling, too. Women may not yet be entirely free, but at any rate they breathe more freely. Moreover, they can compare their figures partially or fully liberated from that instrument of torture which authorities now condemn in the name of health. A typical bromide of the period is our grandmothers didn't expose their calves on bicycles, but somehow or other they stayed healthy. Another common remark is one can't help wondering what's left for her husband. Modesty is becoming a lost art. Celebrated or unknown, the modern woman is eager to be photographed. Painted, too. Marcel Lander, for instance, the famous actress-dancer with the chalky cheeks, the white face, and the beautiful back. With her are Liane de Pougy and Caroline Otero, known as La Belle Otero. Otero is beautiful, disturbing, and disturbed. As likely to dance at noon in the garden of an admirer as she is after midnight for the diners at the Café de Paris. Cléo de Maraude is another publicized figure from the gay and lurid Bohemia of Toulouse-Lautrec. At the exposition, she does an exotic dance from the Far East. Although the purists insist it's not quite authentic, they admit it's delightful and let it and her go at that. Eccentricities become commonplace. Paul Bourget describes such sirens, saying, "She arches her back, avowedly to avoid me, but really she pretends to be enraged, while actually she is embracing me with her eyes." Here's a daring new French film. About what? Love, of course, and a lover to whom a wall is no obstacle. His note sets off the desired conflagration. The rendezvous finally takes place, but moralists need not worry. Everyone will suffer. In films, plays, and novels, the dueling scene is a stock in trade. But Monsieur Wheely, whose successful vaudeville sketches refuses to take even love